All right, let's look at another concept within project management. We are talking about projects, programs, and portfolios. So this concept gives you an insight into what project management environments look like and how projects are managed. So projects you already have an idea of, they are temporary endeavors and they are set up to deliver specific outputs or outcomes. Usually a project would have, you know, it's hard to specify because it really depends on how an organization wants to do it, but generally a project would be going to deliver uh, probably like a output or a few outputs that are very closely related to one another. Okay, so but when you get into a situation whereby your project now has to do much more, then we are looking at something called a program. Sometimes it's called a program of works. Let me paint you a picture. So an organization needs to change their customer service. Perhaps they thought that at first all they needed to do was set up a new customer relationship system. So the project team, they get onto it, and one of the very first things they're going to be doing is they'll be speaking to various stakeholders about the problems they're facing and what they hope could be delivered. So by the time the project team finish those exploratory conversations, they find out that actually this is in order for them to be able to revolutionize the customer service process. Really what they should be doing is they should be setting up a new customer service center. They should be recruiting a new team that will be on their phones. They need to expand their digital applications to collect more information about how their customers spend. They are going to need a team of data analysts to look at all this data that will be collected and be able to feed that information to their sales and marketing team. All of a sudden, this project has grown into what is called a program. And a program, the definition of a program is a group of related or similar projects managed in a coordinated way to get the benefits and control not available from managing them individually. Now, one can argue that all of that can actually be managed as a project. Now, the organization is complex enough, if it's big enough, if you have one person managing the setup of a data center. You know what that means? You've got to get the location. It may have to be built from scratch. It has to be equipped. It has to be kitted out. You've got plumbing. You've got electrics. You've got all of that. That's just for the data center. Okay, and you're expecting a person to deliver not just that, but to recruit a team of data analysts to work with marketing and sales, and so on and so forth, all the things that we just talked about. Apart from the fact that a project manager may not be experienced or equipped to do that, it's just too much for one person to handle in terms of really being able to reap those benefits. And so that's the reason why you have program management. Okay, and then we say portfolio management. So projects and programs are usually grouped based on what a company's strategic objectives are. So a portfolio can consist of multiple programs or multiple projects. Again, let me give you another picture. So let's say an organization is trying to bring about change to its own way of working. Okay, and so it has a number of projects and programs that are looking at facilities, it's looking at sales and marketing, it's looking at supply chain, and so on and so forth. Okay, but as an organization, it also manages projects and programs for its own clients. So trying to mix and match all of those projects and programs and trying to deliver them from the same kind of like a space may not be the best way to go about it, because ideally when you're thinking about client-facing type of endeavors, it's a different kind of perspective than when you are talking about something internal. So essentially with your client-facing endeavors, you want to put your best foot forward. And with your internal endeavors, you can afford to kind of like maximize in terms of economies of scales and things like that. So therefore, it makes sense for you to separate these two portfolios of work. And so you would have your client programs and projects in one portfolio and your organizational change programs and projects in another portfolio. So that in a nutshell is what we mean when we talk about project, program, and portfolio management.